So welcome to our webinar, AI-powered brainstorming. I'd like to introduce Michael Lynch, the CEO of Praxi, and he will take us through the presentation today.
Thanks, Soren. Hi, everyone. And to those in France, I'm in France today as well. So this is wonderful to be a fellow countryman with you all from France. A little background on myself. I've been doing enterprise software now for about 25 years. My last company was acquired by SAP, and I was the lead manager of their Industry 4.0 IoT solutions for a couple of years prior to starting Praxi. And that also included sort of traditional AI as it was applied to manufacturing for vibration analysis and lots of different types of applications in the manufacturing space. But what we're going to do today is really talk about AI in the context of brainstorming and problem solving generally. And my experience is that we're all trying to figure out how to use AI in the most effective way. We all have been told by every news outlet on the planet that it's either the greatest thing that ever happened to us or it's going to eat the planet. But I think at a core business level, there's a lot of struggle on trying to really understand how to use it effectively. And so we're going to offer some thoughts on that and some capability. We'll break the presentation into sort of three parts. One is the deck itself. I'll show you 8 or 10 slides really about the process. Then we'll pause for a demonstration of AI in the context of brainstorming. And then we'll go ahead and do some Q&A and wrap it up. We want to make these crisp and clean and add value hopefully to your day. So I'll jump through this deck here. So a little background about ourselves. I mentioned that we have groups in our company that have been doing best practice processes across lots of different companies and lots of thought leadership. I won't spend a lot of time on our company. This is really meant to be more of a general sort of thought around the process itself, but I will be demonstrating in the context of our software, and any of those of you who are interested would, obviously love to chat with you. What Praxi does and what digital transformation does in general is move people from these non-digital paper Excel sheets, you can call those digital paper, into really beautifully laid out SaaS-based software to do the kinds of work you need to do. So we do, from a Praxi standpoint, briefly, we basically digitize any sort of process that you may need, and we turn that into nice lightweight software. The key reason I want to show this slide is really this sentence up here. If you're running your innovation or brainstorming processes or other processes in paper or digital paper like this, it makes it difficult to almost impossible to take advantage of AI. It's another reason to move into the digital realm, period. And when you think of brainstorming, it's really the start of doing something better, which is the core of innovation. And so we're going to talk about brainstorming and problem solving now. There are a lot of different areas of brainstorming and how it can be used in your different areas of business. Your product development, you can brainstorm new product areas, new products, new solutions for your customers. In manufacturing, it's often about process improvement, different ways to do that. In sales and marketing can be different processes around your stage gate sales, et cetera. In marketing, different types of ways to get your customer in the door, different kind of market analysis. Finance, finding the areas of optimization so you can optimize how your financials go together. HR, looking at 9-box type of problems, other types of processes that might be involved in the promotion of your team, et cetera. So AI can be applied, and brainstorming can be applied to all of these different areas. But again, you can't use AI when you run paper process. This may be the largest transformation in our life, but you got to get digital. And that's really one of the core things that from our standpoint needs to be said and said again is find some of these processes that are critical to your business and get them digital so you can capitalize on AI. That's the first step. And then the second point of view that we have is really that AI in its first areas are really driving processes that can help the worker at the point of work. There's a lot of processes that are done manually today that require experts of different types to come in and help. And these kinds of processes can be dramatically improved by an AI co-pilot capability right there at the point of work when an industrial engineer or a manufacturing engineer or a salesperson or a marketing person is trying to run that best practice. So the benefits of AI-powered brainstorming, there's a number of them, and you'll see this. One, you get faster ideas. You get a lot of things coming out of the process quite rapidly. You get better ideas, and these ideas, the reason, there's been a lot of research on this, but basically you're calling on the entire brain resource of the internet for different things. So each of us has our limited capability and experience, and by bringing in AI, you're basically multiplying that by an order of magnitude around that expertise and how you can drive that expertise to support your needs. There's also credibility and alignment for teams. The teams knowing that there's this larger group of or larger basis of information to draw those ideas, that those ideas can have credibility because people realize that they're pulling that data. I actually skipped one there. The less subject matter expertise needed is also quite critical. I mean, each of us only knows what we know, and by tapping into AI, you basically get a really knowledgeable co-pilot for brainstorming across any of the areas you want to work on. So those are some benefits of the process. And there are different ways to do this. Each of us can go to ChatGPT or other AI portals and ask questions. The technology we're going to show you today it adds a number of contextual steps into the process, and the intellectual property I'm going to show you really just helps make the outcomes very, very focused. So the ideas are not vague. The ideas are clear. And if you just use a standard sort of system like ChatGPT or Bard, the things are not part of an actual workflow process or part of your development process to execute on those ideas, and I'll show you how that works. So you really want to have very specific inputs to the AI, like give me ideas on how I can create and sell a better toothbrush, et cetera. So these can be very specific, and that requirement about the kind of company you are, the specificity of what you're looking for, all helps the AI, and building that all into a unique process is critical to that. So let me jump out of here, and I'll jump into Praxi and show you some examples. We have solutions across the board in lots of different areas. We're AI enabling them across the board, and I'll show you some examples of how that works. So this is an example of an AI brainstorming application. And it has three main steps. One is to enter the business context. And what I mentioned earlier around the business context is that what kind of business are you, et cetera? What are you trying to achieve? You can create and manage AI generated idea groups, and then you can create specific concepts or projects that you want to take forward around that. So that's the process that we built here in this AI powered innovation brainstorming application. So I'll jump right to the business context. What you do in the business context here, and I hope there's not a big delay, I hope you guys are seeing this in relatively real time, is the business description. What kind of business are you? Well, in the case of Praxi, we're a SaaS business developing optimized applications for enterprise. Custom applications are developed at a tenth the cost and within a few weeks. That's what we work with customers to achieve. So what's the business direction? Well, we'd like to grow revenue. We'd like to grow revenue a lot faster than this, but I was being, conservative here. We'd like to grow revenue by 20%. And the customer pain points, customer applications are expensive, takes months, et cetera. So you enter these contexts, and then you send the main point here is, in this context, I'd like to create some ideas for lead generation that make the most of new industry trends. So you're bringing in all of this context as well as the industry trends data. I'm going to skip pushing this button because it usually takes a minute to do it, and I don't want to slow down the demo. That's one of the issues around AI right now, is that a lot of them take some time to generate. It's certainly 100 times faster than trying to do it yourself, but it's a little slow for a demo. So what this does is it will go and generate those lead generation ideas that I populated the prompt by. And so some of the ideas, host a webinar, workshop on the benefits of the application. And then it gives you the detail of the description of what you can do here. Create a blog series, and it gives you the detail here. Write a white paper, create an infographic. So, I told you I was an enterprise company. So these are all enterprise focused type of things that you can do: referral programs, free trials, et cetera, with all of the information about one of those, what those entail at a detailed level. So what you can do at this stage is you can copy this and paste it over into here, which you're saying, okay, I like this idea. Now I want to create a concept about all of the things I need to do around executing that idea. So when I do that, it will let me get a full screen here. It will then go and generate the concepts. And you can go back to this business context here. And let me just open this in a new tab to show this. You can go back to the business context here and enter any number of those prompts you'd like. You can leave the business context and then enter a new prompt. I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z, and that will then generate a new group of ideas. So back on the ideas card here, leave, thank you. So you can see I wanted to create a blog series was the one I believe I posted in there. So it gives me an output of the blog series. It gives me the prompt that I was looking for, and this is the output of what to do around that blog series. And then you can come in here and you can rate the idea on its desirability, its feasibility, its viability. And these can be customized. We do this all the time, but the idea here is to take the output and say, is this something we'd like to go and execute on? And you can do that across the different ideas. And you can also organize these ideas into different categories. You just rename the columns here. But then the important part is you've now generated a bunch of ideas based on AI, and now they're becoming part of a workflow process. So in this case, you're rating the ideas across the viability, feasibility, and the opportunity size. And you can also get a heat map here of those ideas. And based on the ratings of each of these, you can go into these and determine which ones are the priorities for you, highest, lowest, etc. And from there, you can send this to innovation concept phases and gates. And so this is another system we have, but basically the idea is that this now goes into your, how do I take that one concept and actually assign resources to it, etc., and run that through a standard phases and gate process that I use with all my applications. These can also generate task lists and application lists for you as well. So the idea is to take the brainstorm process in this case and build those in directly into a workflow that then allows you to promote those within your organization. So there's really three main points to everything I've showed so far, and then I'll show you one other example. One is go digital so that you can take advantage of this as quickly as you can. The other one is build those into your process, one from a rating standpoint, and then finally is build those into the process so that you can take those into the operational processes of the business seamlessly. So all three of those are the main takeaways that I would say for AI in a way that can be valuable today and 10x your workforce. One of the things that I hear at almost every customer we're at is nobody says, oh, I have just like lots of extra people that are incredibly talented, that I have lots of extra resource. Everyone's resource constrained primarily, I believe, because the aging workforce and a lot of the skill sets are aging out of the demographics of the workforce. So that capability to take the workforce you have and 10x their capability is happening at the development level, and it can happen at every single one of these levels if you give the workers at the point of the work the capability they need. I'm going to show you a different example of using AI from the standpoint of brainstorming. This is a problem-solving type of solution. What you do within these is you generate a description of the problem you're trying to solve. And in this case, safety concerns, I got safety manufacturing processes, et cetera. You hit the next, and the analysis comes back and shows you the different types of items that might be causing your problems. So if you think about a safety worker or just a standard worker, working in a shop or just a facilities manager, would they have the experience to come up with all of these root causes that might be the cause of the problems they're trying to address? You then can look at the different solution types that they might be interested in taking a look at. So in this case, inspecting machinery regularly, train employees, install safety guards and machinery to prevent falling on the floor. So the user here has selected this last one to go ahead and create an action plan around. What that does is it actually generates all of the actions and then can generate the the project plan in which they can then go and assign those items to their users and actually begin to execute that. So you've condensed the problem solving, the analysis, the what to do about it, as well as the project creation into just a few minutes of work, which would have probably for any individual would have been a much larger job for them to figure out how to address. And this kind of capability, this AI co-pilot-y kind of capability, can be applied to any best practice that your company needs through our workflow engine. But broader, if you have a system that can do this, use it. This AI at the point of work based on the specific process that this person or worker needs to address is the way we can 10x every single one of those workers. So that's a quick overview of how you can apply AI into brainstorming, into driving those into your processes, or into problem solving. So I'll jump back and just recap here. So again, any best practice process can be integrated with AI. AI prompts and the process to actually generate those is built into the system here. And whatever system you choose, make sure that that AI prompt capability is built into the process and augments the worker's use case. That use case should be a guided user interaction, an application or process that really helps them through the process step by step, generate expert quality outputs, as well as execution capability in the tasks that they need to drive forward with that. And I would also say building this into whatever your process for measurement and command centers and Power BI or any other type of product you're using for tracking metrics is critical, and metrics and actions. It's interesting. I often see when I'm at customers, they'll have a tremendous amount of data, but very little action management around that data or best practice process to go address that. And so if you do have nice dashboards, ask yourself, how are we analyzing what's causing this? What are the best practice processes that we're using to address these issues? What actions are we taking, and how are we tracking those actions around the kinds of metrics that we're pulling together? So I think that's a quick overview. We'll go ahead and take some questions and have a discussion here a little bit around AI and the points of view that we shared. So Soren, are there any